All right, so I'm just diving right in like I said I would do in the previous video. It is almost 9 o'clock now on, I don't even know what freaking day it is, Thursday. What is it? 16th of June, 2022. I got really confused and screwed up with the technology. I did a live thing just about an hour ago, and I was going to do all these presentations. My goal is to share with you some of my sources so that you see where I'm coming from, so you don't think that I just make stuff up. And I've chosen certain sources that I think have very high levels of credibility, and they are acceptable on YouTube. They have not been destroyed. There are other sources where I go where you can't even get them on YouTube. And anyway, I don't want to drag out that point. Here we go. I'm just going to buzz through a few things that really jolted me today. I told you earlier that I woke up with kind of a shock when I discovered the little sushi fish had this huge fungal infection and an eye infection on each side of her head. And then after that, I felt like I was punched in the face. I saw this video about the cows that died in Kansas. And of course, being who I am and the kind of people I hang out with, that was like, that's not an accident. I'm sorry. That's some kind of sabotage, some kind of domestic terrorist. There are certain very powerful, very wealthy groups of people who are doing everything they can to demolish the American food infrastructure, anything and everything that they can think of. And let me just dive right in. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Let's see if this works. Oh, already looks like I've screwed up. No, here we go. Okay, so with any luck, you should be able to see what looks like a typical YouTube channel. And this is for WION News. It's based out of India, but it is an English-speaking source, and they work all over the world, okay? So it's a very different perspective than the American mainstream media. And from my view, I get better news from here than anywhere I can get in the United States for most stuff. WION stands for World is One News, okay? So this is their website, and I found the video early this morning about all the, oh my gosh, it looks like it might have been removed. Wait a minute. No, it's there somewhere because I just have it posted. Stay with me, don't go away yet. Maybe it's just because it's too old. No, there it is, okay? So I've already got this set up. It says, US heat wave kills thousands of cattle in Kansas. So here we go. Can you see this one? It's very disturbing, okay? Like I said, I have family in Kansas, and when I saw this, my blood boiled. I was enraged. I'm ready to go out and just take people down. I'm not kidding. I seem to have a certain degree of remorse and compassion for humans, but when animals get messed up, there are people like me, we go berserk because they're defenseless. Here it is. Let me see if this shows. I'm going to try and play it, see if you can see it. Or what? Okay, here we go. Okay, if that doesn't make your blood boil in rage, I don't know what does. To me, this is not an accident. This is some of the most disgusting stuff I've seen in my whole life. I've seen some horrible things. I've been on the receiving end of some really gruesome things, but this is beyond me. This isn't about me. This is about these defenseless animals. So immediately I connected with Love Triber, and she pulled up someone that we trust very much in the farming community. His name is Charlie Rankin, and he has this channel here. Okay, it's called Yanasa TV. And he is kind of a documentarian about the farming world. And he created his own video, which you can watch. I'm just going to show you here. I'm not actually going to play it because it's half an hour long. But if you can see, if you can you look up in the, I'll look up in the search bar, it gives you the exact channel. Otherwise, you can go to his channel here. It's called Yanasa TV, and click on the videos section, and it's his latest video. It's right here, and you can see for yourselves. And this guy is super, he's retired Wall Street kind of money finance guy, and he decided to get out of that. He turned into a farmer. So he has a lot of like IQ and brain power, and he's turned it towards nature and farming. And I trust him implicitly. So I just wanted to share that with you. This is the actual video itself. Was it just the heat? So he's asking questions like millions of other people across the world are asking questions. What the uck just happened in America? This is beyond disgusting. It is criminal. It's evil. I think it's pure evil. I think it's done by some form of domestic terrorist. I'm going to keep going, and that kind of lines up with this stuff here. Now, you've all probably heard this and seen this on some other activist type websites. This is Zero Hedge, a very trustworthy source of information. And of course, you've heard about the processing plants all over America that are going up in flames. Again, this is, a lot of people are suggesting this could be domestic terrorism, all part of a New World Order plan to destroy the economy, destroy hope, destroy faith, destroy the infrastructure so that a new world order can be rebuilt in its place. A new world order that is built on absolute totalitarian mind, body, heart, and soul, and money control across the whole world. From the very top of a pyramid of power that is not even elected. They're not even monarchs. They're not kings. They're not royalties. They're not presidents. These are multi-billionaire and corporate elitists. And the modern iteration of this is called the World Economic Forum. Now, I'm one of these people who I'm very suspicious of the WEF, but they present themselves extremely well. They have about 2,500 members who showed up just last month in Davos, Switzerland, for their annual agenda. They couldn't do it last year because of the bug, but they did it this year. And they all arrived in their like super private jets, and they're talking about, zero carbon, and everyone's going to be vegetarians. We're going to be living off insect feeds and vegetables. And modern farming as we know it is going to be destroyed and replaced with these controlled factories, okay? Meat won't exist anymore as we know it. Travel won't exist anymore. And if you go really deep into the World Economic Forum, and you can see all their charts in their Agenda 2030, they're trying to destroy travel and shipping and oil and gas to turn the world into this green utopia. I get it. I understand. Seriously, can you see me up in the little box here? I understand. I would love to have a beautiful, clean, it's so hot here. The air is burning, okay? You walk outside the door here in Las Vegas, it's like walking straight into the front of a blast furnace, okay? So here's a list. Another plant just erupted, but here's the latest list from June 14th. Now I got this, there's other people getting the same information. I'm just sharing this. This is perfectly public on a highly respected news source. This is a list. And my personal view is it's all sabotage. All of it is sabotage by a very dark, demonic, evil group of people whose pledge is to destroy the existing system. Look at all this. 644,000 chickens destroyed, Maryland. 663,000, Maryland. 900,000, Indiana. Nestle food plant destroyed, Arkansas. Chicken, 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 turkeys, 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 chickens and turkeys, chickens and turkeys, eggs, 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 eggs. They're destroying animal farming in America. They're destroying the meat industry. They're destroying the infrastructure for the industry. So is it a coincidence about the war in Europe where all the fertilizer in the wheat is also being destroyed? Is it a coincidence that China is behaving the way it's behaving and that all the shipping of resources is heavily constricted? It's all part of a bigger, bigger, bigger plan. A lot of it includes radical, profound depopulation. They call it eugenics. And your friend Bill up at the top of the WEF is very deep into that stuff. You probably know all about it already. But this is the latest list, okay? This is very, very disturbing, extremely disturbing stuff. Now, what I do here is I go to news sources that I trust. This fellow, Neil McCoy Ward, I feel very warm towards Neil because he's British and I spend a lot of time in Britain. And he's very straightforward. He's right down the middle. He just calls it out for what it is. He's got a really successful YouTube channel. And he has a way of presenting himself and information in such a way that he can address the truth and reality and information that triggers you to ask questions about reality, about what's really going on here. And he presents his own perspectives that make a lot of sense to me. In fact, I correlate very strongly with Neil. And that's where I get a lot of my personal insight regarding global finance and stuff. There's another place where I go. I'm basically showing you a list of people that I trust because there's a lot of sources that I don't trust. So look over here, there's another fellow. And let's see, this is Mark Moss. I trust this guy because he's a multi-millionaire, very successful entrepreneur. Read his story. And he knows he's got a lot of serious in-depth knowledge and wisdom about the global financial systems and how it actually works, as opposed to how we're being, let's say, fooled into believing it works. Again, I don't want to go too deep into it. I'm just showing the source. Mark Moss is highly trustworthy. He comes out with valuable material almost every day. Just see the title there, changing the way you think about money, because money is a belief system, okay? People think it's, paper, or think it's stuff in their bank account and they use it to get stuff. Sure, of course, but it's based on a belief system. And what people are starting to realize is that the belief system is actually built on a massive, beautifully constructed fraud, and it's coming unraveled. Remember when that previous president talked about draining the swamp? Well, the swamp is drained in Washington, D.C., and now we're seeing all the swamp creatures. And it is the swamp creatures that scare me, because they are real and they are very, very powerful, and they operate above the law. They operate above the government. They operate above humanity in the common sense. They are the supreme elitists, the ultimate apex predators at the very, very, very top. And I'm going to show you over here what that looks like. These are the folks. Now, this energy field here, currently it's called the World Economic Forum, but it's had previous iterations. There was something called the New World Order, and before that, One World Government. It goes way, way back. And I showed a link to you, I think it was yesterday or the day before, The Idiot's Guide to the New World Order. So please watch that and then come and look at this. I'm not going to go deep into the World Economic Forum here because there's tons of material and it's all beautifully presented about how to save the world. They have everything. Let me just show you quickly. Where is it? Okay, so they have topics, artificial intelligence. And it's run by this fellow Klaus. You've probably heard of him. And this is what he cares about. And it's all beautiful. It's all about this wonderful, wonderful utopian paradise for the future. Everyone's going to be vegetarian. There's going to be clean air, clean water, no more plastic. You'll have basically body part transplants on demand that they're going to grow from, other body parts or something, and so on and so on. But essentially, if you look at it from another perspective, it is basically a massive totalitarian agenda, including especially the financial aspect, which is expressed through the Fed, the United States Federal Reserve. I don't have anything on that tonight. I'm going to do that on another video. Over here is the WEF YouTube section, and you might recognize some of these faces. Here, look at this, preparing for the next pandemic. That's what they were talking about. The reason they know about it is because they've already planned it. It's all planned out. It's called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And here's a string of videos. This is all from there. For the future, annual meetings, okay? The special agenda. Xi Jinping was present, okay? What does that tell you? The president of China was there in full force. History is at a turning point. The CEO of Pfizer, okay? These are like people committing war crimes as far as I'm concerned. I can't prove it, and it's just my opinion. What's the future of work? There's a mixtape here. It goes on and on and on. There's tons of material. You recognize this guy, George? Some people think he's spending billions of dollars paying these so-called, part of it is like crisis actors, but also people who could be labeled as domestic terrorists who act in ways of sabotage to forward the agenda. You see, the problem is with the Great Reset is that they can't do what they want to do without destroying what already exists. So that's kind of awkward and uncomfortable for about 8 billion people. First of all, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get shut down. Okay, so because this stuff here, these people, they make my stomach turn. They trigger profound fear, and I don't want to live in fear. So sometimes I go over here. Sometimes I check in with this fellow who's very good at providing a satirical view of all the stuff that I'm concerned about. He's very much into freedom and freedom of speech. He's very much into observing anything that gets in the way of freedom of speech and the right to defend yourself and protect yourself in the American Constitution. He's a very successful YouTube satirist, okay? And you can check that out for yourself. He's right here. He's got almost 2.6 million subscribers. So he's doing very, very well. Lots of fun stuff. He's very intelligent. You might not like him personally, but he does a very good job of awakening people through humor. Now, there's someone else where I like to visit. I trust this person implicitly, and he has had a few run-ins with YouTube because he tends to call out directly from his own personal views, and he has material that he collects from all over the world because he has friends and family deep in the military, American military, American first responders, American police force, basically people who make it their job to run towards the bullets in order to save and help other people who are running away from the bullets, okay? So he knows a lot about this stuff, but he's not active anymore. Instead, he runs a YouTube channel, and he's doing pretty well now, as you can see. I go here because he's very raw, and he just spits it all out in a way that resonates very, very closely to my own perceptions. And so what I tend to do is I tend to accept his presentations as very truthful and straightforward. And the problem is that that's very unacceptable to the powers that be who control our mainstream media. But he does it in such a way that he is still acceptable on YouTube and still viable and successful. So I'm really, really happy for him. And I kind of depend on him. There's plenty of others too, but anyway. Lastly, sometimes I get really, really depressed very quickly because I feel like I'm losing my compassion for humanity and my ability to help people. And you know, like a few years ago, I had this ambition to have some property in New Zealand and create a kind of resource retreat area where people could come and visit, and it would be self-sustaining through things like crafts and nature and tourism. It never happened, as you can tell, but I still have wishes and dreams. And one of the things that does lift me up is just the opposite of animal abuse. When I cheer myself up by looking at animal rescue stuff, and for some reason I seem to care a lot more about that than I do for human rescue. I'm sorry, it's a bit embarrassing, but that's my reality. And here we go. It's a huge, huge channel, very, very successful. And a lot of people send material from all over the world. And it's mostly very, very heartwarming. Sometimes it's quite tragic, but in general, it's very heartwarming. And it's love. It's just pure love, because all of these animals are pure. They know only one thing, love. Okay. So this is where I go to cheer myself up. And right now, that's pretty much the end of I'm basically showing you tonight what I was trying to show you on the live stream, but I couldn't because of the technology. So I hope this works. I hope you enjoy this. I am going to stop the share now. I'm going to sign out and wish you all a super day. Love thyself. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Good night. We're just going to wrap this out right now.